Part 3, the Paradise Machine Model and Morale. Evil traits will probably seek to flip the truth 180 degrees. When a dominant trait shifts from being good to malevolent, there should be a phase where deceit becomes necessary for the malevolent traits to survive hiding from the already good majority, as seen from nature. According to fourth law, malevolent traits will be in the minority as the context of energy shifts towards constant abundance from chaos to order. This means there should be a phase in the transition in which malevolent intentions need a disguise to appease the majority. This scenario should lead to a continuous pursuit of perfection of lies. The theory suggests that as soon as the lie becomes 100% perfect and impossible for humans to reveal, nature will detect the scenario via its quantum zero-risk mechanism discussed in Part 2. So far in evolution, the second law of thermodynamics should have prevented the cultivation of 100% perfected lies, as the strength of the lie should be directly connected to energy states and the degree of chaos in Nash's survival game. Around 2022, a theory emerged suggesting that the surge of black metal music culture in Norway during the early 1990s was not a coincidence but a revolt against a society these youths perceived as deceitful and insincere. This idea posits that the cultural shift in Norwegian society at the time, primarily influenced by the burgeoning oil and gas industry, led to a new era of energy abundance not seen before. This emerging system in Norway had a low population, and the newly excess energy and high taxes obtained was used to reduce chaos, an increase in rules-based order. A perfect storm for evil traits in the eyes of fourth law. The idea further speculates that the satanic elements of the black metal uprising in this new thermodynamic context in Norway could be explained by applying the fourth law. A society claiming that fairness, respect for human rights, gender equality, love and solidarity was its moral goals. The rationale goes like this. It is assumed that the black metal rebellion at the time were in direct opposition to what the youth culture was rebelling against, essentially representing a 180-degree turn from how they perceived the society, the opposite of love and understanding, etc. According to fourth law, the Norwegian society might have reached a perfect storm at that same time, which allowed for a complete inversion of truth for the first time in evolution. In essence, the satanic black metal culture could have been a reflection of the very evils it opposed, hidden behind the newly obtained 100% perfected lies. This speculative concept was illustrated in a sketch, Figure 10. One might utilize the artistic imaginings from this black metal rebellion as a projection of what could be hidden behind the perfected lies, since according to fourth law, evil traits should be present behind perfected lies in constant abundance. See the last section of Part 2 over. It's a fascinating concept that by applying the logic of the fourth law, it might generate graphical representations of evil, possibly delving into the realm of demons, if such exist at all. Did these first black metal artists actually projected real demons hidden behind the perfected lies? Anyway, I dare to suggest that such an approach to this field by applying fourth law could be the closest we have ever come to have captured graphical images of the spiritual world. The good news is that if this approach is true, it simultaneously means that the universe are pre-programmed to end in the paradise state, as fourth law suggests, and that sporadic occurrences of evil in the universe is seen by the universe as a disease, a weak trait that is not meant to win over good traits in the long run. It is also peculiar that the fourth law was discovered within the same system in Norway, as this new system should be a perfect storm for producing the malevolent traits the fourth law predicts would result from a similar scenario. Moreover, if a zero-risk trap is an element of the Paradise Machine model, then the newly emerged Norwegian society might have the ideal conditions to be the first life form on this planet to have triggered this mechanism, sending a signal to nature that it was about to be dominated by its natural rival, evil traits. This does not imply that the Norwegian population itself is inherently evil. Rather, that Norway could be the very first society on the globe to be trapped in this perfect thermodynamic storm, a system in constant abundance, reduced chaos, and thereby the possibility for reduced risk in the struggle for survival game. A perfect storm which, according to fourth law, should remove or strongly reduce all factors that prevents malevolent traits from becoming influential in a society. Hence, therefore, becoming a perfect candidate to trigger the predicted zero-risk trap hidden in nature discussed in the third article. What this article focuses on is what role this zero-risk mechanism could have in a larger apparatus, the Paradise Machine model. Based on the above, it is therefore tempting to anticipate that the zero-risk trap has been activated in the Norwegian society, consequently leading to the creation of the fourth law, details to follow in Part 5. In a thought experiment, one can picture a person approaching planet Earth with no information from Earth other than factors that are relevant to fourth law, such as energy context, population size, political system, etc. By applying fourth law, this imaginary person from the outside would probably predict Norway to be the society which first arrived at zero risk, due to the perfect conditions as seen through the lens of fourth law. Part 5 dwell more on this interesting scenario. The point is, the fact that fourth law emerged from this society in the first place will by itself support the theory. The phenomenon of the Norwegian black metal rebellion in Norway in the late 80s and early 90s is just yet another intriguing observation done when analyzing an up to now trivial situation through the lens of the fourth law. On the positive side, fourth law could also serve to be used as a political compass, merging the best of both worlds, enjoying constant abundance by sustaining a chaotic system, as depicted in Figure 8. This is yet another example of how fourth law can be applied in other fields, such as in politics. Figure 8 proposes a usage of the fourth law in the future to create more optimized societies, by recognizing the degree of chaos as the actual prime mover in separating good from evil traits. Thus, by applying the fourth law in politics, we might establish societies of constant abundance, provided the surplus energy isn't used to reduce the system's level of chaos, thereby extracting the best of both worlds, the calming effect of constant abundance, and simultaneously avoiding the accumulation of evil traits. Why lies become so effective in the transition from evil to good. In an environment where energy is constant abundant, evil will likely attempt not only to remove chaos, but also to perfect its camouflage. As a natural result, such life forms will reduce its risk-taking in the struggle for survival as its camouflage improves towards perfection. It also supports the view that evil traits should be more comfortable with zero-risk strategies, and therefore become the first phenotype on Earth to trigger the proposed zero-risk mechanism. This connection between energy context, chaos, lies, and risk was also discussed in Part 2. Lies that flourishes in an environment rich with energy and reduced chaos becomes a key factor in how evil traits might dominate good ones. These elements seem to be interconnected. In a setting where energy is abundant, adopting to create perfected lies should evolve as a survival trait for evil, in particularly while being in the minority phase of transitioning going from good to evil traits in the power hierarchy. The most effective lies, those which minimize risk the most, are likely to be favored, probably luring gooder traits into their own domain of reduced chaos, as this context for survival will give, according to fourth law, evil traits fitness over good traits. In the same manner good traits have been given fitness so far in evolution, so should the definition of fitness change with change in energy context, in particular if the excess energy is used to reduce chaos. One of the main discussion points in this article is, what is nature's purpose of giving evil traits fitness at all, even if it is located to isolated pockets in its universal system? A central argument in the Paradise Machine model is that evil traits reveal themselves to nature by activating an embedded zero-risk mechanism. It is hypothesized that before this activation occurs, nature does not pay the life form in question any attention, including life on Earth. The zero-risk signaling mechanism is probably activated once lies become 100% effective, perfect 180-degree flips. At this stage, more advanced life forms in nature should be the only intelligence that is able to see the situation at hand as the life form in question is exposed to perfect lies. That there comes a point where there is no chance that good traits can rescue themselves from the growing influence of evil traits. The zero-risk detection mechanism launched in the third article should be responsible for detecting any such scenarios in the universe, alarming the remainder of the universe that evil traits has gotten the upper hand somewhere in the universe, somewhere in the machine. Why does the camouflage of evil traits effectively counteract less malevolent traits? It may be because evil traits are unnatural, a foreign element not yet known to Earth's natural life forms. Thus, the majority who possess good traits may be unable to discern their natural adversaries behind the perfected deceptions, as they have not experienced this scenario before. It would therefore also be hard to imagine such a strategy, flipping the truth 180 degrees, as less evil traits probably are not capable of finding the same comfort in doing so, less talent for lying. Hence, having developed talent for creating perfected deceptions should become an effective strategy towards the healthy majority, as such talents should be a new and unknown domain in evolution, never fully experienced in life on Earth before.